Do you like basketball? Basketball loom. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only podcast that talks about every NBA team every week. If you're subscribed to the Patreon, and if I'm not traveling, which I'm not this week, wow, woo, we're back. We're back, and it's March, so you know what that means. We're talking about the Eastern Conference and nothing else basketball related, just the NBA, the most exciting shit in the world. Pablo. Oh, well, shit, I'm Joestar. I'm Jack. Me first. And then Pablo Escobar, world famous, right next to me. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. This is the free episode. You didn't see us last week because Mr. Joestar is so unprofessional. He took a week off to go partying for St. Patrick's Day, gallivanting across the world, so he couldn't do it. And also, by the way, right now when we're recording, it's an hour late because I slept through my alarms.
Just the picture of professional quality around here. It's like, I went on the Deep 3 podcast like 2 days ago, and
Which
like
guys are those?
they do a bunch of they're all, I don't know, they all have ring lights. That's the thing that stood out to me. It's like Isaac, Mo, and Donovan are their names.
Oh, I
And
think I know. Okay.
yeah, they do like a lot of TikTok game type clips thing. And it was cool. It was a chill time, but they all were like, all right, turn on your cameras, turn on your lights and everything. I was like, oh shit, you guys are professional around here. And they're like, well, we're not that professional. I was like, well, Pablo records in his car.
It's all relative.
Hey, we're having fun. That's what we're all about. We're not about quality. We're about fun around
No,
here.
we're about economics, and so
Okay.
the startup price to our what is it called? Your margins? I don't know. Your margins are ours are here. Theirs are there.
There's our way out. Imagine all the
We're so
electricity.
much closer to profit.
Oh my God. All right. Speaking of profit, patreon.com/state of the league. We already mentioned this is the free episode. If you want to pay for an episode plus access to a Discord and a bunch of other fun stuff, you can make lobbyist requests where we'll talk about them in this free episode. You can influence what we think for $5 a month. It's a pretty sick deal. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll plug something else too. Number one, I've decided my weekly TikTok lobbyist meeting is going to have to be bi-weekly because we have too many people in there now, which is a good problem to have. But that's going to be bi-weekly. But I'm adding another thing. I've been watching draft prospects lately. Before I post draft prospect YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna do write-ups and I'm gonna post them in the Patreon. So you'll get early access if you're in the Patreon. Wow, I've already been typing away on a certain little white boy.
Rob Dillingham. I don't know anybody's name, but I did see him lose. It's tragic. Sorry, Rob. Your draft stock has plummeted as far as I'm concerned. The only college games I tune into every year, and you lost? Are you serious? The Joestar board.
You know what the meme is with him? I'll put you on early so you're not left behind.
Give it.
In every video that you see of him, people will comment, he's so shifty, because it started genuinely, I think, because he has good handles. And I think someone else said it, maybe a Thompson twin, so someone in OTE said it because he was playing in OTE, and they were like, he's so shifty. So now everyone, like, whenever there's a video of him doing anything, like there was a video where the Kentucky saw who they were playing on Selection Sunday and everyone was celebrating, and he was just sitting there like not making a face, and all the comments were like, he's sitting there so shifty, and he's watching the TV so shifty.
Oh, that rocks. Hell yeah. Well, shout out to Rob Dillingham. We know you listen to this, and I would take you first overall. Alex Sarr, forget about him. Other guys, there's like a Jonathan guy maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the board looks like, but shout out to Dillingham. We do have a couple right off the top, March Madness type lobbyist requests that didn't really fit into any
All right,
team.
We'll do March Madness first.
All right, so lobbyist request number one, and again, I don't know these guys. I Googled first one. Someone's got to talk about DJ Burns. We need more huge dudes in basketball. I love a big guy, and they're kind of back in style a little bit. He's like 280 pounds.
Is this the guy? Is he on like NC State or some red
Yeah,
team?
yeah, I think he is. I think he is
Okay.
NC State. DJ Burns. Height. Yeah, he's 6'9", 275 pounds.
He is
So
enormous.
that fucking rocks. I'm down to have him in the league. Kenny Lofton, I've always said 5 Kenny Loftons. That's
He's losing weight.
no. Oh, god damn it.
The Ozempic curse.
He's giving into peer pressure.
Shout
That's
out
tragic.
to Kelly Clarkson. The Ozempic has her looking like it's 2002. She's aging well.
Did you see Tracy Morgan had a great quote where he went on Ozempic and gained 40 pounds, and he said, I can out eat the Ozempic. And
that's not what that does.
It's like, what? Maybe you got the wrong, maybe you were part of the placebo group, Tracy. All right.
What was it? What behavior? Because it like cancels your addictions or whatever. So what was it canceling for him?
Oh, I don't know how it works. It cancels. So if you have 2 addictions, it only does one.
It makes you not want to eat. So, but they've also found it can be applied to other problems like that. Like if you have a gambling, it can be used to help addictions like gambling addictions or like smoking, any other.
Shohei, Ozempic, buddy, come on.
Should some players in the NBA take Ozempic too? I've actually written this down in my TikTok video idea notepad. I haven't done any more thinking on it, but should some players be given Ozempic? Like if we got prime Carmelo Anthony Ozempic, and we used it to make him stop taking mid-range shots, that would have been
okay.
Good.
Domantas Sabonis, you give him Ozempic, he doesn't hit like a random 3-point pump fake every time he catches the ball on the perimeter. He just dribbles right away, and he's got a quick first step.
Nice.
Have you heard of Baylor Shearman?
Yes, Bailey Shireman. I believe this is a little white boy shooter. Well, not too little, but I believe this is a white shooter from Creighton, I think.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the fucking Blue Jays. Oh my god.
Are they Nebraska or are they?
Yeah. They're in Omaha. They are. So shout out to Creighton.
Wait, aren't you a Nebraska boy from a Nebraska family? You can't
well,
be cheering
first
on
of all, I
Creighton.
am, and that's why this podcast starting an hour late. Nebraska plays at 6:50 Eastern time tonight. So
no,
I'll tune in.
We got to zoom through to see Japanese Steph Curry.
I know. Shout out Kisei Tominaga, baby, but also shout out to Shearman, 6'7". You can shoot. It looks like.
Yeah, that's his thing.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a spot for guys like that in the league. And this one says this guy will be a good NBA role player. Sorry if this doesn't fit. You paid us $5. You can literally ask anything on these.
Your job is to tell us how high. Your job is to tell us to jump. We worry about how high.
Yeah. And I'll jump. Yeah, okay. A good role player, that's fine. Literally anybody can do that. If you're 6'7", it's fine. You don't have to be able to run fast or
you got to be able to shoot. But if you're 6'7" and can shoot, Spoelstra's got your number.
All right, hell yeah. And then last one. This is kind of a sore subject. Thoughts on JJ Redick and LeBron copying our whole fucking flow, bar for bar. What do you think about that, Pablo?
Yeah, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but when you're talking about flipping the plays in the timeout, when we talked about that last week, when we talk about how the 2-for-1 looks positive analytically, but it disrupts the flow of the game, that's something players know. That's something we were talking about. We talk about like Xing out and pick the picker, switching to guard the inbounder. This is like, I would appreciate if they credited us or had us on. But
yeah, I know it's kind of lame. A lot of their riffs also. I mean, so I like. If a guy's bad at free throws, I heard the phrase "no free dinners" thrown around on their podcast, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? Okay, and so I mean, they have the platform. It's fine. The free market, we love that around here. It's our best friend, and I guess this is just a big fish. A big fish eats smaller fish kind of situation. So.
You guys thought we were unprofessional? They're getting drunk off that wine. They're
morons. Oh my god. Get Steph Curry on the pod, get him to black out, and let's see what he really thinks about stuff. I'm
Ask
curious
about
about.
Aisha. Are you guys still together?
Are you guys still together? How did all that stuff make you feel when she took her wedding ring off on live TV? He's just like, oh my god, that was so dumb.
If you were locked in a room with a poor person, what would happen?
Oh shit. Okay, I think I could tell what would happen. He's beating him up. All right. Speaking of beating them up, baby, the Boston Celtics. We're moving to NBA. 4-0 in their last four. They beat the Suns, they beat the Pistons, they beat the Wizards, and they beat the Bucks. Do you have any substantial thoughts on the Boston Celtics this week?
Let's see. Oh, Joe Mazzulla. Did you see when he tried to block Royce O'Neal's 3-pointer?
I did. That was sick.
That was pretty.
That.
That was pretty sick. And then some mystery is afoot. He said, "I was told not to do that anymore. I can't reveal by who." So, is there a shadow leader in the NBA? Has David Stern not been dead this whole time? Did he fake his death? And is he still controlling Adam Silver like a little puppet?
He's doing a bad job of it. Feels like, I don't know. Do you think David Stern would be like pro FanDuel, pro like just like league pass? You can gamble straight in it, because we kind of romanticize Stern, but at the same time, he's probably all about that bread still. So I feel like
it's interesting, yeah, because he was definitely profit focused, but he was profit focused. It seemed where he was like, it seemed like through racism. He's like, we need our players to no more tattoos, no more baggy shorts. We need you to wear suits on the sidelines and stuff like that. And then, so it seems like he would think gambling was a bad look.
Mhm.
But then also, I don't know if any commissioner's turning down hundreds of, if Aiden Ross is getting hundreds of millions from gambling companies, what is the NBA getting?
That's a good question. So yeah, as far as like the Celtics go, I think the Bucks win was interesting because that was supposed to be like a really marquee matchup, and then Giannis missed it, and so it still ended up being pretty close. The Bucks had like a huge fourth quarter. They went on a 21-6 run. I wrote that down. And it was a one possession game for like the final 3 minutes. And that was interesting because the Celtics are very rarely in clutch games. And so, I don't know, seeing them get into like a nervous late game situation and kind of fuck it up. Like the offense was really, really nasty for Boston down the stretch of most of this game until Jason Tatum was like, oh, I'm way better than everybody out here, and I can just go get a layup whenever I want. It was not a phenomenal Boston game for most of that fourth quarter. And then Bobby Portis, holy shit.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
I know. In the fourth alone, he had 14 points and 7 rebounds on really, really good efficiency. So, yeah, that was the big thing I wrote down from them. Over the last 15 games, the Celtics, they've only played 4 clutch games, but they are like very middle of the road. And I figured it's like the Nuggets game and this game kind of both combined to fuck up all their advanced clutch stats. They're like 15th or they're 14th in net rating in the clutch over the last 15. And then they're 22nd in offense straight up. So yeah, it was just pretty ugly shit for the Celtics. As far as like what we've seen, they've been a borderline elite clutch team all season long. So this is just like a little bit of a trip up by their standards this year.
Yeah, I'm sure they say they're taking every game seriously, and I believe them to an extent, but it's hard to get locked in for every single game when you just know like these games don't really matter. Like we could lose all of these and we'll be fine. No, all that matters is what it is April or whatever.
Well, it's also hard to like lock in when you look at their schedule. It's like 18 points, 20-point win, 17-point win, 22-point win, 30-point win, and then like a 3-point loss, and it's like, oh fuck. I can't believe we dropped that one. I'm so annoyed by that. No, nobody cares. Oh my god.
And like when they escaped the Bucks game narrowly, it's like, oh, we're going on to play the Pistons. We got to stay locked. Jason Tatum had some quote about that. It's like we can't look down on anybody. So yeah, they're at that point. Bill Simmons is producing a multi-part Celtics documentary for HBO. What's it about? I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be super unbiased and looked at through a very clear lens. I've been following it's like the r/Bill Simmons podcast. They followed me on Twitter.
They have a Twitter account?
Yeah, I've never listened to the podcast, but their tweets are interesting, and so it's like gotten me.
Wait. What is it's a podcast itself?
Yeah. It's a podcast about the Bill Simmons podcast and the Reddit community around it and like how it's kind of degraded around the years. It's super meta. But I was like, oh shit, that's kind of fun. And so yeah, like they've been doing a lot of logging how Bill is often like super anti LeBron, and the thing that they've been harping on lately is he's been doing revisionist history to make it seem like the 2017 finals was like a who's gonna win type matchup, even though like all of the odds are like minus a million for Golden State to win. And so that's pretty funny.
Oh my god. I do read that subreddit and I look at the reactions to the latest episode, and I was looking at the ones for last night's episode, and that's what a bunch of people were complaining about, which to an extent, like, that Cavs team was underrated. Like, people didn't realize at the time how good they were. That was like one of the most offensively dominant teams in NBA history. That team is crazy. But yeah, when Kevin Durant was involved, there was no rational person thought they were going to lose.
And yeah, I mean, especially oh my god, the Christmas game, because then that gave like Warriors fans, I remember, like 4 screenshots to just spam in the posting. Where it's like everyone was against us, no one thought we were going to be able to pull this out when we got matched up with the Cavs, and look what happened, look how dumb you look. Yeah, that was a shit time in basketball discourse. That was not fun.
I gotta tell you, some of the things are so mean in that subreddit, but they're so funny. Like, one time Bill had this guy on who they were talking about music, and he was saying that this guy was like a music writer, and he was saying Taylor Swift doesn't have one song that transcends like herself, like that people will know the song without knowing her, the way that Seven Nation Army does, and like all these band and like all these famous artists, and not everyone has one. And then he was like, and then Bill started, he was like, it has to be a song that you would hear at like a sporting event. And then Bill started throwing out just a bunch of songs. And I saw someone in the comments, they're like, as soon as he said basketball stadium, that Bill Simmons' brain just went there. He doesn't understand what he's saying. He's just going to throw out sporting events in the stadium. So I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah. I don't know.
It's the most parasocial place on the planet, but it's so funny.
Oh yeah.
So mean too.
What kills me, the mean thing that I've seen a lot from the Twitter is whenever there's like an audio bug or an editing issue, people want nephew Kyle to die. Oh my god, they hate him. And I mean, I get it. Like, it's a clear nepotism thing. Like, just oh, my nephew edits the biggest sports podcast in the world because he's my nephew. But at the same time, people's reactions to it are so fucking funny.
And you know what? He's on the Russillo podcast, and he does talk. He talks. He does the life advice there.
Oh my god!
When they get into the life advice segment, it's him and Russillo. I think people like him over there. He's a funny guy.
What advice do you have for people who are looking to break into the podcast editing sphere? And he's like, oh my god, where do I even start? There's just so much advice, so much perspective that I have that you can really apply to your own life as well. It's definitely not just for me. Oh,
have you ever listened to the Russillo podcast? And
no, I never have.
The life advice is funny. It's just people sending in. They always tell him their measurements. Like, started as a joke. They're like, hey Ryan, 5'9", 140 here, 6'2", 220 here, and they give a comp to a professional athlete, and then it's always just the most like frat bro turned accountant question possible. Like, God, I promised my wife I'd go to this place, but the boys are hanging out this weekend. It's the big game. How do I handle it? And stuff like that. And then Russillo will give funny advice.
Hell yeah. Well, maybe if you're a lobbyist, maybe we'll introduce a segment like that sometime soon. Definitely not if you're just tuning in for free. But if you shell out a little guap, maybe
Oh,
you get a little advice from Pablo and myself, a unique perspective on what it takes to make it on TikTok. All right. Well, that's enough Boston talk. Half of it was Bill Simmons. So let's move to the Bucks, baby. The 2-seed Bucks, 3-1 in their last 4. They lost to the Celtics, obviously, and then they have wins over the Suns, 76ers, and the Brooklyn Nets. I said the Suns win was good. No Giannis versus Phoenix or Boston, but Middleton played in both of those games. For the Suns game, giving up 140 points, or giving up 129 points, bad. Scoring 140 points, good, very impressive. Maybe the best Damian Lillard game we've seen so far this season in terms of like controlling the game through both scoring and facilitating. He went for 30 points, 16 assists on really good efficiency. Yeah, what do you think about Milwaukee lately?
the Chris Middleton return is good. In that Celtics game, they were to start the fourth quarter, they were down by like 20. It was like 80 to 100. And then they just started running the offense through Chris Middleton, and it was really working out. And so he was fantastic in that game. He was operating. What would that area be? What would it be like right inside the 3-point line? Is that the I don't know if it's the nail or not, but he was like posting up kind of from there. He was just operating out of there as a scorer and passer. He was looking really good. And then in March, 22, 5-7 on 73% true shooting. 2 games in.
2-game sample size, baby. Hell yeah. We're fucking with that. I hate big samples over here. Give me the craziest shit based on 1.5 games. That's what I always say.
Because the problem with big samples is if there's a bunch of bad games in there, then they make someone look bad. But
Yeah.
that's not what he is. He's good.
What the hell?
But yeah, I'm getting more and more Bucks pilled by the day. I'm becoming more Bucks-mistic.
I like that.
Bobby Portis, in addition to that Celtics game, he had 31, 10, and 2 on 20 shots in the Suns game. So things are turning up for the Bucks. President Biden met with Doc Rivers. What are those guys talking about? And the Bucks owner.
Oh shit. Well, I said they're talking about introducing the F1 fighter jet into the NBA because in the new CBA you can fly a plane when you play basketball. I don't know if you know that. So
Is that true?
I have a screenshot of it. It's not doctored or anything. I'll send that over your way. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, Middleton.
What would the life insurance fees on LeBron flying a plane be?
Oh my
That'd be
god. It would like fuck up the global economy if that happened. Well, I was gonna say Middleton's like it'd be funny getting inside the mind of a defender guarding Middleton when he does that deep 2 post up, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing out here? Like, I don't even know how to respond to this because yeah, we're 18 feet away from the basket, and you're just going to back me down.
On you. You know they call him Moisture Jordan.
Ew. That's so gross. Oh my god. Yeah. He is good at basketball, though. I will say that. Very, very good. Very underrated playmaker. I feel like the lack of him in this Milwaukee offense this season has kind of highlighted how good of a playmaker and a passer, especially in like a 2-man game, he is with Giannis. It's just something that's been like a reliable constant for Milwaukee over the past 3 or 4 years. That, I mean, his health hasn't been phenomenal in past years, but it doesn't feel like it's been as bad as it has been this season. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me not being tapped into the Bucks.
There's no way for us to know. Remember the Jared Allen, Evan Mobley incident? We were like, one of these guys is durable and one is injury prone. It was just completely wrong. It was just complete opposite.
Perfect. Well, we exist on narratives.
We're prisoners of the moment. We can't break out.
I'm stuck. I'm not a prison break guy. I'm a prisoner, and I'm like, oh shit, he just missed a game. This guy can't stay healthy. What the fuck, man? Yeah, I wrote down the Celtics fourth quarter comeback. It was also it was pretty solid defense by Milwaukee, especially without Giannis on the floor. They made it as good or as easy as it's been for people to get to the rim against Milwaukee. They kept Boston from doing that a good amount. They forced them into some weird mid-range jumpers. And then also Boston was missing their kick-out threes, so that helped with the whole like good defense thing, is the fact that the guy you left wide open bricked the jump shot. But we move. And so I thought it was good, a step in the right direction defensively at the very least. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I have on Boston. I'm getting more on the Bucks, not Boston. I am getting more Bucks pilled along with you. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the juxtaposition of every other team in the East, and it's like, well, the Bucks might give the Celtics a good series, and nobody else is. So that's where we're at this point. I'm rooting for them if that's the matchup.
Go Bucks, baby. DJ Wilson is back in the league. You know what? My nickname for DJ Wilson back in the day, I wrote this in my notes in like 2017 or whenever he was drafted. His number was 5, and so my nickname that I came up with for him was Dead Buck 5, just like dead, like Dead Mouse, who has the 5 in his name. See, I didn't know it was Mouse. I thought it was Dead Mouse 5.
Mouse 5.
Dead Buck 5.
Oh my god, that fucking rocks. I can relate to that, but fortunately, that was one of those things where I never had to ask. I remember very clearly someone I went to middle school with was like, "Have you listened to this Dead Mouse song?" And they showed me their iPod or whatever, and it said Dead Mouse 5, and I was like, "I thought it was." Oh, that makes sense.
No, I knew that.
Yeah, obviously it's Dead Mouse. Oh my god.
Do you know the artist who has his name is Black, but he has a 6 for the B?
Oh yeah, Six Lack. Yeah.
His name is Black. It's not Six Lack. I once saw a TikTok where it's like, "Hey, Six Lack, why did you name yourself Six Lack if you didn't want everyone calling you Six Lack?"
I thought Six Lack sounded cooler than Black, to be honest. Black is kind of like, it's like, oh, all right, that's pretty plain. But Six Lack, it's got some sharp edges to it, I suppose.
And it doesn't play as well with white people. Like, I can't go around just saying, "Oh, who's your favorite artist?" "Oh, my favorite artist is Black." It throws the chemistry off the conversation. But who's your favorite artist? Six Lack. Ooh,
Six Lack sounds cool. Okay, all right. Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks?
No, I do not.
Fuck them. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 2-2 in their last 4. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Pelicans. They lost to the Rockets, and they lost to the Heat. Losing to the Heat without Bam, not ideal, especially for a team that the question is just like, is the New York thing going to happen again? And then Thomas Bryant gives you like a double-double, and you just kind of get outworked a little bit. The Cavs over their last 18 are just 8-10. Donovan Mitchell has missed 11 of these games. Evan Mobley has missed the last 8 straight. Max Strus has missed the last 9 straight. Dean Wade has missed the last 6 straight. And so, yeah, their losses in that span, they've lost to the no Embiid Sixers twice, the Bulls, the Knicks with no Brunson, Randall, or OG, and then the Hawks without Trae Young. So that's a handful of the losses in this run. Obviously, they've lost to some good teams in there too. I'm pretty sure, like, I think they beat the Wolves, but I don't know. That's not all their losses, but they have just had some ugly losses in this run. What do you think about Cleveland lately?
Donovan Mitchell has a nasal fracture in addition to a bone bruise in his knee. So did he get that in a game? Probably, right? But that's not a good sign. They just need to, at this point, they just need to make it to the playoffs healthy. I don't know. They're probably. Do you think they're going to lose the 3rd seed to the Magic?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Because the strength of schedule, NBA remaining. Thank you, Tankathon.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell has a pretty severe case of tendinitis, from what I understand, and the PRP didn't accomplish what it needed to. That's from Brian Windhorst.
Damn. Okay. Oh
And
shit.
Masters has no timetable for a knee injury.
Well, that's scary. The Magic are the 14th remaining hardest schedule. The Cavs are the 19th, but the Cavs have like half of their roster healthy, and the Magic are pretty. They're trending in the right direction. Franz is back and everything. Jonathan Isaac. Oh shit. There's a helicopter by my house. The federales are coming to get me. But yeah, I think they could lose the fourth seed to the Magic. I wouldn't want that. I want the Magic Knicks caveman series. But what do you think?
I honestly I feel like it's possible just because I don't have a ton of confidence right now that Darius Garland can be like a floor raiser for them. I don't know. I don't know if he just hasn't played up to his standard. But it was interesting on the Thinking Basketball podcast. They were talking about the fit with Garland and Mitchell, and they were talking about how they don't really enhance each other, and they seem like they should, because it should be a situation where one of them can drive and just kick out to the other, and both of them are good shooters, and both of them could attack closeouts and then play make out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying they think it doesn't feel as good, and the results aren't that good with them playing off ball because they're so tiny. They think it limits their options as being an off ball threat in terms of like cutting through the lane earlier and stuff like that. So I don't know about that, but I think that's an interesting observation. So, but for sure, it is surprising how little these two seem to complement each other. That when when on paper they should be great.
Yeah, I mean when you even just like strictly off the eye test, when you have watched them together, especially when you like contrast it with the big win streak that the Cavs went on, there's never a moment where like Donovan Mitchell makes a play to Garland or vice versa where you're just like, oh fuck, like this combination of players, it's overwhelming. This team, they can't do anything about it. Whereas even with like hot hand Sam Merrill or Dean Wade or whoever, like when Donovan Mitchell was kicking out to guys like that, or when the whole team was clicking around Mitchell, and then you had Allen in the paint cleaning shit up, then you felt like there were flashes where it's like, oh shit, this is like a team that can take over games, especially with how well they're playing defensively. And with Garland and Mitchell on the floor, it just hasn't felt that way. And I agree with your point. Garland, his numbers have been pretty good in the 18 game stretch, but like they haven't been floor raiser caliber numbers when you put him up against what Donovan Mitchell was doing and like a similar demand for production. In the 18 games, Garland is 19.7 assists, 57% true shooting. The volume 3-point shooting has been kind of sick. 8.6 attempts per game, and he's 42% from three on those. And before the 18 game stretch, he had 4 games all season where he took 8 threes. Since then, he's had 11, and in those games, he's shooting 46% from 3. So often, when the volume gets super high, his hand will get super hot, and you'll see like a 7 for 12, 6 for 11. I don't know, that kind of shooting night. So,
how many free throws do you have? The free throw attempts during that stretch?
Off the top of my head, I think it's like 2.8. It's not very high. When he gets into the lane in like contact situations, it feels way more often that he's looking to like get the ball to Allen right under the rim. That's what I've noticed, which he's a good playmaker in those situations, but it doesn't put as much pressure on the defense all the time.
Yeah, I think that's for sure the biggest gap in why like they can't just flip to being like, oh, we'll just play the same way when Donovan Mitchell's out, and we'll have Garland do the Donovan Mitchell role, because he's not like, he's a very quick athlete, and he's able to create space on his jumpers, I think, but I don't think throughout his career he's been a guy who gets to the rim and finishes very well, so like super easily, and so that's like a real key to floor raising. It's not like they can just do the driving kick Darius Garland offense, because I think it's a lot tougher. He's a lot easier to contain from killing you at the rim. So.
Oh yeah, because he's less explosive as an athlete. Mitchell, like we've talked to, you're huge on Donovan Mitchell's ability to split double teams and everything, which Garland does not do nearly as effectively. And then also once they have a head of steam going towards the rim, Donovan Mitchell is like a cannonball. He's
Got
small.
some mass.
Yeah, he's gonna bump you midair, and he's got those super long arms as well to finish around guys and get the ball up onto the rim. That Garland, he just doesn't have those physical tools, and so it's a lot more difficult for him to produce in those situations. That said, the 19-7 on solid efficiency with good shooting, it does make me feel a little bit better about like the arc of Garland's career, like the possibility that if you get him into a better situation for his style of play, then maybe we do start to see a fringe all-star level guy or that level of production that we saw. Was it last year or 2 years ago at this point that he was an all-star? It was 2 because they traded for Donovan Mitchell and then he didn't make it.
It feels like a long time ago.
I know. It feels like forever ago. So, I don't know. Shout out to Darius Garland. I liked that year. It was fun. But just, this experiment has not worked the way people expected it would. Over the last 15, Cleveland is the 14th ranked defense and the 20th ranked offense. With all that said, thumping the Pelicans by 20 points is a good win still. The Pelicans had been rolling and the Cavs put a stop to that. So, I mean, shout out to Cleveland for that. It just does not feel like this team is like peaking at the right time, building momentum towards the postseason. It feels like they're going to limp into the playoffs, and that's not, you don't want to like be playing with your back against the wall. Nobody's healthy, not ready to go. And that just feels like where they're at right now.
Caris LeVert is averaging 5 assists per game. I did not realize that. So that's he's not really scoring well from anywhere. The 3-point number isn't good. The rim finishing number isn't good. But the other night he had a big game with Jared Allen. So we'll see how he factors into this playoff rotation. But they signed Marcus Morris. Wow. And then also on their broadcast, they have a graphic that shows you the point differential. So like if they're down 10, there will be a little thing, a little graphic that says -10 above their score. So for all the people who can't do math, they got it built into the screen for you. Would you like that, or would you be like, get that off my screen?
I like as much heads-up display as possible. I want to I want a tracking shot on the basketball, and then I want 30 statistical windows.
You just want to put on an Iron Man helmet with all the floating metrics.
Exactly. That's the type of shit that I am looking for. It did make me laugh where you're like, LeVert's not really scoring well from anywhere, because like this season, if you had asked me like 2 years ago, Brooklyn Caris LeVert, like what's this guy gonna look like? And a time traveler's like, he's defending the best he ever has, and he's averaging 5 assists per game. I'd be like, whoa, what the hell? That's not really the career arc I thought we were going for here, Caris. But yeah, he could be a difference maker. Maybe for a team that has like a higher floor in terms of level of play. If you got Caris LeVert into a situation like that, then having a microwave hot hand scorer who can still defend and play make pretty well, it would be a bigger difference maker. When you have somebody who like you're really leaning on to play at a high level and they're just sort of a hot hand scorer type, I don't know. That's not really the situations I see guys like that maximized in. Like Caris LeVert in a Norm Powell role, I think he could really excel doing some shit like that. But not quite what Cleveland is asking for him, I guess.
We are back in 1917, maybe. Coach J.B. Bickerstaff on sports gambling. He said, some of the sports gamblers were sending me messages about where I live, my kids and stuff. It's a dangerous game and a fine line we're walking. We really have to be careful with how close we let it get to the game. So we are full on in the mob showing up to your house and being like, listen here, mister, throw this game or else your loved ones are in trouble.
Okay. I like your transatlantic accent. That was fun. Listen, buddy.
Actually, with Al Capone in them, it probably see? You don't want to get hurt down there, see?
You better let Pablo score 30 or else. Oh yeah. So I don't know. The Cavs vibes are not ideal. Vibes aren't great. Oh, okay. Well, let's hold off on the bad vibes talk.
Oh,
The Orlando Magic 4-0 in their last four.
their
Wins over the
vibes are good.
dude. It's going to be hard to frame this as hater shit, and I'll try not to. I'll try to be objective here. Okay, so they have wins over the Pelicans, Hornets, and the Raptors twice. They're on a 5-game win streak, including a win over the Nets. They're 13-3 in their last 16 games. Are you ready for this?
Oh,
10 of those wins have been against the Pistons twice, the Hornets twice, the Nets twice, the Raptors twice, the Wizards, and then the Jazz. And then they have 3 wins against the Knicks, Cavs, and the Pelicans.
okay.
And then yeah. So it's just I don't know. 13-3 is 13-3. You got to beat the bad teams. That is a crazy run. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, we didn't. So here's what they're going to say to us. We didn't do this to the Cavs run, did we? We don't know who they played when they went like 18-1.
That is fair.
That's fair. That's true. It could be all the same guys. It's a horrific Eastern Conference. But yeah, that's not that great a run.
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. The vibes are definitely better. They overtook the Knicks, and they just beat the Pelicans, and the Pelicans win was good. And I do want to shout out 2 Pablo Banchero haters here. He did not score well in the first half of the Pelicans game.
I didn't watch this game. I was on my walk, and then I pulled up the box score at halftime. I was like, 0 for 6. What's that? Okay, whatever. And then because the NBA. Some NBA stats account tweeted out like Pablo Banchero headed into a showdown with Zion Williamson, and they showed their just volume stat line, and it's like making it seem like they're the same. And I tweeted out, "Oh, these guys are equal players," and then this guy replied, "He's like, you're such a Pablo hater," and I was like, I'm like, this is Zion hating and comparing him, and then after the game, he tweeted at me, and he was like, well. I was like, you're up, you're up, sir.
You're up. No, Dave. He's fucking down. Okay, Brandon.
No,
Ingram,
Dave is up right now. Dave is up.
Brandon Ingram folded in half in the second half. Okay, I don't know. They did pull ahead anyways because Paolo, even though 1 for 6, this is your box score watching. I'm game watching here. He was a great passer in that first half. He made a lot. He was like the smart Julius Randle comps we've made. They were really bearing fruit there where it's like the jumper is not falling, but I'm still huge. I'm going to dribble right to the basket, and then I'll just like make the right play. Jalen Suggs standing in the corner was the right play on like 85% of those possessions, but he was knocking his threes down, and the Pelicans were leaving him open for whatever reason. So that was kind of stupid, but they ended the first half up 9, I believe, and that Paolo's passing felt like a big reason why. Excuse me. And also, getting a 39% 3-point shooting night from the Magic as a team, that's got to feel brutal if you're an opponent. Like you just caught them on the hottest night of the year. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Not too much Magic hate this week. And I am ready to see them in a playoff series. I think as far as like their playoff chances against the Knicks, especially with like how the Knicks' health is looking, which we'll get to in a second, I think they could win that series. I think it's definitely a toss-up right now, especially if they have home court and not New York. What do you think about the Magic?
13 games since the All-Star break. Jalen Suggs is 13-3-3 on 71% true shooting, 47% 3-point shooting. So he is killing it along with his elite defense. And then, yeah, Jonathan Isaac has been playing. Guys, if you listen, we're not the podcast that's going to bring too much Orlando Magic optimism, Pablo Banchero optimism, but there is a podcast out for you. It's the Bill Simmons podcast. He has said he's going to put Pablo third team All NBA, which is crazy.
The LeBron hate in him.
And he made in the latest episode, he made a comp. He comped Jonathan Isaac to Bill Russell. He said it's like Jonathan Isaac is like if you just zapped Bill Russell from the past into the present game. So that's your guy. Yeah, listen, just don't compare him to LeBron, and there won't be bad expectations for Pablo. I'll tell you. But yeah, the Magic they're playing really really well. I saw this guy write a haiku online. Okay.
Oh, okay. Hit me with it.
Erwin M. Fletcher from the Magic subreddit. All right. 3, 2, 1. Blue and white take flight. Paolo and Franz ignite the court. Magic's power grows.
Wow. Well, Franz isn't. I mean, he better be inside the arc if he's igniting. I'm not gonna lie. More hater shit. He's 18% from 3 over his last. I think 6 games. I think that was just this week. But he's 28% for a good long while, a big chunk. So his 3, and he shot 40% against the Pelicans. So I guess that just kind of displays the kind of shooting night it was for
Does
Orlando.
winning FIBA turn you into a fraud?
It might. It might. Championship hangover. That's what Dennis Schroeder's pointing to. The best in the
How's
world.
Andreas Obst doing in Bayern Munchen? We'll have to check on that.
Yeah, we'll have to outsource that one. I don't know. Last thing I had. Oh, you remember all the bad teams I said? So in that 13-3 stretch of game over those 16 games, they have played they've played a bottom 7 defense in 10 out of the 16 games, and in that stretch they are ranked 14th in offense. So
if middle of the pack versus the worst of the worst.
Literally treading water versus like the Washington Wizards and the Indiana Pacers and shit. So
hey, you can only play who's in front of you. You can only play who's in front of you.
Yeah. So I like I said with the Knicks, and we'll get to them right now. The Knicks are not healthy. If it matches up like that, I like the Magic's chances. If they play like a good, ready to go defensive Knicks team, I'm not quite sure how that pans out, but I don't know.
I've got one more Magic question for you.
Hit me.
Paul George. There's some Paul George fleeing to the East rumors.
Ooh.
How would you feel about Paul George in Orlando?
So he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And he would probably want a ton of money.
Probably big bucks.
Yeah, and I mean he's worth it, but at the same time, I hesitate on that because it shifts your timeline really drastically, and I think we're probably a couple years out from like deep playoff run caliber play from this whole roster. Even if like Paolo is ready for it right now or next year, the idea that Pablo, Franz, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, if he's healthy, are all going to be ready to make a run with Paul George immediately. That's not great. I don't have a ton of faith in that idea. I would say if you can get him on a good deal, sure. Max, he's 33 years old right now.
I don't know what he is because what is he 09 draft? Or no, that's Steph Curry. Is he 10 draft? He might be 10.
He is the 10 draft, and he is 33 years old right now. So, I mean, super high-level player still. If you can get him on a good deal or you can pay him a ton of money for a short contract, that would be chill. I wouldn't love like a 5-year max contract or like a 4-year situation, maybe if it descends. Yeah, I don't know. How would you feel about it?
I don't know, because you can never have too many wings, but does the addition of Paul George, like right now they're a fantastic defense and a bad offense. But if you add Paul George, you're not giving up anything on defense. You're probably better. But how much does he raise your offensive output? And then with the money spent and the injury issues spent, and then he's a good off-ball player, but also he might be the best on-ball player out of all those guys. So I don't know. It is kind of a funky fit. And so I don't know for sure. It probably it probably won't happen, and I don't know if it would be my number one choice. They probably would be better, but it's just you got to think: is this the move you want to sink all your space into?
Yeah, especially because like he is not the caliber like peak Paul George might be. Right now, he is not the caliber of player that's going to take an offense from like middle of the road against the Pistons and friends to like
Mhm.
contending for a title. He'll give you another difficult shot maker. He'll give you another super dynamic on ball creator. He's a solid passer, all this shit.
And he's a good off-ball shooter too.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's great. And for literally any team that's like marginally close to title contention right now, I would feel pretty solid about adding Paul George to that roster because he's super portable as well. But just for a team that's this young, that we've seen the arc of a young team, they might take like this might be an up year for them. They might have a down year or two where they're a little bit lower, just progressing guys. I don't know if I love the idea for Orlando.
Yeah.
All right. I would love it for the Knicks, actually. That'd be kind of sick. Paul George on the Knicks, that sounds dope. Make it happen. The Knicks 3-1 this week. They lost to the Nuggets. They beat the Warriors, the Kings, and the Trailblazers. The Kings win. That's a classic Thibodeau masterclass. New York scores 98 points. Brunson has 42 of them. They hold Sacramento to 91 points on, I think, 47% true shooting as a team. They shot 18% from three. OG Anunoby, you know how you were super excited to see an extended run of OG and the Knicks with no Randall? He's hurt again. He re-aggravated his elbow. So he's back on like a day-to-day basis. Julius Randle is still completely out on the injury report. According to that, he has not even begun scrimmaging. He's still in like moderate contact training. There's only 13 games left, so time is really ticking for this team to get reps together before a playoff series. What are you thinking about New York right now?
Yeah, OG came back. He was like plus 28 in that first win. It was like, oh yeah. And then they won 2 more games. He was plus 11, plus 6. Now he's gone again. So
plus 0 now.
Maybe he's, I don't know. We don't know what he's doing on the bench. He might be contributing. He might be saying, go rotate there, and then they do it, and then they get a stop. Whoa.
Plus 1.
But yeah, they asked Tibbs about Randall, and if time was running out to get him healthy. And he said, control what you can control. Just keep working at it. You never know when it turns. That's the way we have to approach it. So not the most optimistic quote in the world. He's like, we're just going to have to power through without this guy.
John Calipari type quote. I fucking tried. I tried. I don't know what they want me to do. I gave them the right plays and everything. I called timeout when I was supposed to. These baby kids lost me this game. Fucking losers.
Oh, but you know, Tibbs, man, Tibbs would actually, like, I think Tibbs blames himself for everything. I think he's like, like he stands on the side. What? Just spit on my phone. He just stands on the side. He's basically in the game.
Yeah.
And, I bet, like, if he could kill himself to stop an opponent from scoring a basket, he would do it. He's insane. But yeah, John Calipari is he's such a like a con man salesman, like just like door to door traveling East Coast salesman. And
it's the scam. The scam is that I am coming to your very talented child to join my really good basketball team, but the basketball team is only really good because I'm going to everyone's really talented child and being like, hey, I got all these other talented guys, and they'll come if you come, and if you come, then they'll come. And so it feels like I don't know, it feels like the league, the rest of the association has caught up to it a little bit.
Hey guys, if you're going against a team that plays zone like 85% of the time or whatever, maybe don't play a lineup with 3 non-shooters. Maybe maybe play the guy. They have a guy on the bench who shoots 50% from 3 on 4 attempts per game, but still on pull-ups and on movement shooters.
That's not college basketball, man. That's not college basketball.
Rob Dillingham shoots like 38% or something. And I'll tell you what, guys, Kentucky still was a positive with their 3-guard lineup. They were still positive in that game. So don't give me Cal. It's not his fault. He can't play the games, guys. He's not putting them in position to succeed. But beyond John Calipari, Deuce McBride playing some good minutes for this Knicks team. He played really good defense on Steph Curry, and he also, what did he do? Yeah, against the Warriors, he scored 29 points, 6 of 9 3-point shooting. What a monster. I love Deuce McBride.
Yeah, he's sick. I'm not familiar with him. Was he like a draft guy that you paid attention? This is the first interaction I've had with Deuce McBride.
Yes, he was at West Virginia. And so do you know anything about the West Virginia basketball team?
No, I do not.
They have a nickname. They're called Press Virginia. They're one of the teams who, did they do it this year? I don't know, because I don't know what happened with Bob Huggins. So I don't know what happened with them this year. But basically, they would do a full court press for the entire game. So like,
Whoa.
and Javon Carter, he was there before Deuce McBride. So they're literally picking up the point guard at the inbound point and guarding him the entire way through. And so they are crazy. Like literally a few years ago, they had this 6'9" shot blocker guy, and he was the most exciting player in the country to watch, because basically it would just be like a wide open runway, because the opponent, once they get by the guy who's pressing them, it's just like a wide open lane to the rim, and there's just this one guy standing there, and it's just like a 1v1 the entire time, and he's blocking everything. It's crazy. But so Deuce McBride was in that system. He was playing like stifling lockdown defense, like Javon Carter level defense, but he was even more offensively equipped than Javon Carter was. Like really talented shooter, not great like athlete rim pressure guy, really, but just a guy who monstrous defensive guard who you're hoping can make some shots on offense. I was surprised that he went later in the draft, and he's drafted a few years ago at this point. So I don't know what's taken him so long to get to this point, but it's great seeing him finally get minutes. And when we add up this Knicks roster in totality, they have a lot of guys. And so if they're fully healthy, they'll have Brunson, OG, Randall, Hartenstein, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Precious Achiuwa is playing well for them, Mitchell Robinson, and Bogdanovich if he plays well. That's like a pretty deep roster. Maybe it's too optimistic to say if everyone's playing well enough for everyone's healthy. But still, they've filled this thing out pretty good.
Yeah, no, they've done a non-Knicks type job of fleshing out this roster. It feels like they would. I don't know. The Knicks have taken big swings over the course of my lifetime that routinely haven't really worked out.
Amari Stoudemire pre-injury.
The 40 games of healthy Amari with the Knicks. I maintain that's not like a bad decision. That's just poor injury luck. He was fucking dope, man. The fit with him and Melo, not ideal. Not Melo is not exactly Steve Nash as a playmaker. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Picking up guys like Josh Hart, picking up guys like Hartenstein. It's just yeah. And when you boil it down to like 8-man rotation, maybe McBride or whoever gets trimmed out, Bogdanovich doesn't get as much play. Like an
they're gonna be. I saw a tweet by somebody where they're like, "How mad is ownership gonna be when Bogdanovich gets DNPs in the playoffs?"
We gave up. Who was it?
A first-round pick, I think, or did they give up a pick? They gave up Grimes for sure.
Yeah,
I think they gave up a pick.
Yeah, that sounds right, because Bogdanovich was a fairly hot commodity at the deadline. He was playing really well the past year and a half in Detroit. Not so much in New York, but yeah. So when you crack it down to like an 8-man rotation and the top end talent starts to matter a little more, I think teams like Boston, obviously, and then Milwaukee, probably Cleveland as well. Those have a bit of an edge on their rotation, on their roster, but it's one of the 4 or 5 best in the East when healthy. And I think you can only go up from here. They've been making smart moves. They're not super committed as far as like draft picks. I believe they have most of their picks. They have most of their capital. So yeah, they're in a good spot, even if shit doesn't really line up for them this season. I like what they've done.
I saw on their subreddit they said, "Who would be your dream player to add to this roster?" So here were the top 5 most popular answers. Top answer: Jokic. Duh.
Sick.
Second answer: Julius Randle. Third answer: OG Anunoby. Fourth answer: Mikal Bridges, and fifth answer: Anthony Edwards. So they've had Mikal Bridges' dreams for a long time here. He's already in New York. He's already a Villanova boy, but based off, and it just seemed, honestly, it would just make sense. Like, get the Nets, take your picks, and then he doesn't have to move. He just shows up to a different spot.
Changes uniforms and everything. I don't know.
It seems like everyone would be happy there, but the Nets are like, no, we won't take 30. We won't take every pick for the rest of time for this guy. This is our guy.
We're close. The foundation is here. We're a piece away. And then, I mean, we're a Jokic away from contending, guys. Yeah. Other than that, we like what's going on with the Knicks. They're fun. Super funny.
Mitchell Robinson back before the end of the month.
Oh, shit. All right. I'm here for that. Well, that doesn't help our lobbyist request very much. Could Isaiah Hartenstein get love for most improved player? Also, which is your favorite Hotels.com commercials with the NBA players? I said no for most improved player, but if we did like a niche award, like most impactful improvement, the way that he's filled into like the Mitchell Robinson gap, and like really like he's been better. I don't know. I've always liked him, but he's probably exceeded my expectations for what he was going to be a little bit. So yeah, he's been super impactful, and it's just like he doesn't have quite the counting stats that a Kobe White or a Tyrese Maxey, who just blow voters out of the water. He's not going to get any love there. What do you think?
Yeah, who is the favorite for most? Is Kobe the betting favorite?
No, it's Maxey by like minus 500. I think it's crazy.
That's kind of a bizarre choice.
I know. Kobe White to me embodies the award a lot more in terms of like just complete turnaround of situation in a year. Whereas Maxey, it's like, oh, James Harden's gone. Obviously, you get 10 more shots a game if you want. You'll probably score more, but I don't know. Maxey, he has improved.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that because you would think all eyes would be off that team post injury, and the voters would not reward it. But Hartenstein probably will not be in that running. But how often do big guys even win that? I don't know. Siakam won it. I think it really is like you got to be in All-Star conversations probably, which I don't know if Kobe White was by the All-Star break. But yeah, I don't know. Hartenstein's not. Okay. Yeah, Hartenstein is fantastic.
Yeah, no, Hartenstein rocks, but he's like role player rocks. He's not like voter award rocks. So Lowry won it last year. Then so Lowry, Randall, Siakam, Giannis.
Big man's award.
Yeah, so that's every other year. And then so a year before, if we're going every other year, it's Ja Morant, Brandon Ingram, Oladipo, CJ McCollum. So it's really alternated. Guard big man all the way back until like
has to be guard this year.
Yeah, that's the pattern that's been established, which I'm fine with that. If we've established a precedent, then next year, Hartenstein, it's all yours, baby. You better be ready.
Take another leap next year. Oh my god. Do you know about the Hartenstein guy on Reddit?
Oh yeah, he like Jokic first. I feel like I've read it. Yeah,
he was the Jokic guy first. He was the guy. He told everyone Jokic is going to be a Hall of Famer before anyone knew who Jokic was, and everyone's like, "Shut up, man! He's not. This second round pick is not better than Jahlil Okafor." But he pivoted to being a Hartenstein guy. So maybe Hartenstein is still coming. Maybe those advanced metrics are still. He's still a Jokic level guy in the future. My favorite Hotels.com I'll tell you what, man, they impressed me with their Peyton Watson and Jokic. Their acting is so good.
I know. Yeah.
I like the one where they're walking through the lobby with the goat. I don't remember what else he says. I don't remember what he says in that one. But also I like the one where Jaime Jaquez and Jimmy Butler are sniffing coffee. I saw that last night and I was like, man, that makes me want coffee. But like the only coffee open was Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm like, it's not gonna taste like that.
Yeah, no, you're not getting artisan craft coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. My favorite one I wrote, I don't remember which one it is. I don't think it's the one where they're walking through with the pony, not a goat, because he likes horses.
Oh,
It's
pony.
yeah, but it's like
Sorry, I got confused because he's the goat.
he's a goat. Okay, all right, all is forgiven, baby. Hashtag Jokic is a goat propaganda. Yeah, but I like the one where Peyton Watson is like petting the horse and he goes, oh, I think he likes me. And Jokic, it seems like a very earnest reaction. He just pulls the horse away. He goes, he likes me. He likes me. Yeah, so yeah, that's a shout out to Peyton Watson's agent. Insane that he got the spot there over like Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon or whoever. Yeah, that was fun. That's it for the Knicks. The Knicks. Hope you get healthy. Hartenstein, 2025, most improved player. That's all we got.
Hartenstein is black. Did you know that? His dad is black?
I saw that Pat Bev clip where he was like top 5 white players who aren't white. And his co-host was like, Hartenstein? And Pat Bev was like, Hartenstein's black. And everyone was like, what? Yeah, I didn't know that. He's like super logic. Like he doesn't look white he doesn't look black at all.
Also, he's a guy I did not watch before he was drafted. I don't know when he was picked. I could have sworn he played in Europe, but I think he might be an American. I don't know. Is he American or is
I think he is.
I thought he was from Germany.
Let's see. No, I'm fairly sure he's American. Where the hell? Born? Does it not say? Oh yeah, he was born in Oregon. Yeah, he's American. He was drafted.
Did he play college basketball?
I think so. Let's click on he was drafted in the 2nd round with the 13th pick. Let's look this up.
In which year?
2017. Oh no, he did not. He did not play college. He didn't play college. He must have played overseas. Doesn't say where though. I'm just on Basketball Reference. So yeah, 2nd round pick, a white 2nd round pick from overseas. Maybe that Redick guy, he just has a formula and he hit on it once and he's been making burners, pushing shit for years. Yeah. Other than that, the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers, 2-2 in their last 4. Talk about bad vibes. 2-2 in their last 4. Wins over the Pistons and the Nets, losses to the Cavs and the Bulls. Halliburton's 3-point shooting has been the story for them this week. 28% from 3 on just under 7 attempts per game in the 23 games since he came back from the hamstring injury. If you shorten that down to the last 10 games, it is just 17% from 3 on about the same volume. Yeah, it's gnarly. It's gnarly shit. Because that volume scoring on the that was what allowed the Indiana's offense at the beginning of the season to function. It was like you kind of contain Halliburton as a passer, and then you give him a sliver of daylight, and it's like, oh shit, he's bombing a 30-footer, and he's hitting 6 of those a game, 4 of those a game, or whatever. And so, yeah, that feels like one of the driving forces behind Indiana not being quite the same level of offense that they were for the first 3 months of the season, in season tournament time. So, yeah, what do you think about Indiana?
Someone asked Caitlin Cooper, the legend, on Twitter, why is Halliburton shot off? And she gave a super detailed response. So I tried to write down what she typed on Twitter. Go follow Caitlin Cooper on Twitter. She said so she listed out a couple possible reasons. And so she said, as a shooter, he typically evades closeouts moving to his right, which requires powering off his left leg. And I'm assuming his left leg is the one he hurt in the injury, right? I think that's the case.
I believe so, yeah.
But since returning from injury, half of his step back threes have been going to his left, and teams are forcing him that way too. So, not his usual movement pattern. So that could be one explanation. He's shooting 26% on pull-up threes, and that could be due to my impression of what she was saying. She was talking about like ghost screening and stuff like that. I think she was saying that could be due to less space because nobody healed anymore, and so the people screening for him and shooting for him are not as good. He's the best movement shooter on the roster now, and so again, the Buddy Hield absence, he could be he is filling that role more these days, and that's not really his usual role, so that could be a reason why. And then sometimes players just miss.
Yeah, I saw that too. And she is way smarter than both of us. I'm not gonna lie. She's locked the fuck in. Shout out to Caitlin Cooper.
Locked in syndrome.
Locked in syndrome. Knowing what she's talking about syndrome. What? We tested negative. Don't worry, guys. Yeah, I mean ending it with sometimes players just miss after 2 paragraphs of like super in-depth film breakdown, that fucking rocks. Other than that, yeah, other than like the shooting deficiency and how that's fucked up the team, this just like does not feel like a team that anybody is going to have a problem with facing in the first round if you're Cleveland or Milwaukee or Boston or whoever. They just have not been trending in the right direction for weeks now, and it doesn't feel like they're building momentum or starting to play their best basketball of the season. There are a couple fun stories. Neesmith in his last 6 has been 14 points, 4 rebounds on 63% true shooting.
Ooh.
40% from 3 on 5 attempts. So that's fun. That's nice. He's only 24. They still have a lot of like young guys on the roster. It's weird because at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, super fun young team, Indiana Pacers. And now I'm like, they added Siakam, and it's like, okay, middle of the road young team. But then you like get into
and
it.
it's funny because who did they give up? Buddy, and who else did they give up? Because our Buddy is probably older than Siakam.
He might be. Oh, I forget how fucking old Buddy Hield is, dude. Like for being in the league for 5 years or whatever.
I think he was like 23 when he was drafted.
Yeah, he's 31. He was a 24-year-old rookie. So that is that's fun. Shout out to Buddy Hield. But yeah, like the rest of the Pacers, you have Mathurin won't be 22 until June. And then you have guys like Obi Toppin, Nemhard, a lot of guys under 25. But then you're also relying fairly hard on the TJ McConnells of the world. Miles Turner is not old by any means, but he's starting to enter like the prime years of his career. So I don't know. The timeline, it's just a little wonky. You definitely see the vision with the young core, but it feels like they might even be a year or two out from having like what the Orlando Magic have, which is a team that is functioning almost entirely on those young pieces.
One of those young pieces, Isaiah Jackson. He had 10, 11, and 6 against the Pistons. I'm an Isaiah Jackson lover, but I don't quite know why I had really lofty expectations for him. I thought he could be like an all defense level big man and just voice crack. And just like finish like dunk everything lob man, but it hasn't quite worked out that way with the Pacers. I don't know why. Pacers fans, let me know. But yeah, they haven't been playing too well, but they are 6-1 when Siakam scores at least 25 points. Wow.
I feel like if Siakam had been on this team at like the onset of the year, he would be scoring 25 like once a week. The way they were scoring at the beginning of the year, I mean, you were getting like routine Buddy Hield 25 pieces. It seems like, at least, like that's the kind of shit they were putting up, which scoring 25 when your team scores 135 is not quite the same as like doing it when you drop 110, but it's nice nonetheless. Yeah, I don't know. Indiana, this season feels like it's starting to be a wash, but looking to the future, you still have Halliburton. I'm confident that once the leg gets right, it's not like all of that talent has completely evaporated. He's also just pretty clearly like all NBA motivated a little bit. Like he feels like the story of the season where it's like the 65 game minimum is putting guys like this. This is a specific example into like tricky, tough, I need to play even though I'm not 100% type situations, especially when you look at his minutes restriction. Like his hamstring, he did the splits. He was back like 2 weeks later, but he didn't play more than 20 minutes for like another 2.5 weeks, it feels like. So yeah, it's just it's not a great end to the year for Indiana.
Yeah. Not the vibes are rancid just like the city.
The vibes are horrific. I mean, the city's infected the vibes. That's what it is. Nothing good can survive there.
Should they relocate? I don't know.
Oh, okay. Who's to say? 2 DC teams, maybe? Could be fun. All right. I've been pitching the whole city's sports teams rebrand to like military tech themes. So you could do like the tanks, the drones, the jets. The Jets is already a team.
Well, you have the Commanders already, right?
Yeah, lame. I hate the Commanders.
The heartbeat scanners. I don't know. What do I call
the
the
thermal scopes. There we go. The tomahawks.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And people are like, it's cultural appropriation. No, this is the Call of Duty tomahawks, guys. It's different. This has nothing to do with Native Americans. All right. Speaking of, I don't know. Someone on the Heat might have to do with Native Americans. So I'm gonna the Heat 3-1 in their last 4 wins over the Cavs, the Pistons twice, and then they lost to the 76ers. Beating the Cavs without Bam, that's cool. They opened the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. They nearly blew it. But Rozier, he was cooking a little bit. He hit a huge 3-pointer to ice the game, and he's been playing really solid since he came. He missed 4 games, but since then he's been playing at a really high level. What do you think about Miami?
Guys, the mouse on my laptop disappeared. Don't anyone else know when that happens? That's a weird thing.
Probably smelled some cheese. Am I right, guys?
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, they beat the Pistons twice. The Cavs once, lost to the Sixers. Nikola Jovic. I saw somebody on Twitter did a nice little breakdown on Nikola Jovic's defense. I guess he's been playing pretty good defense. As he's an obstacle at the rim because he's like 6'10", and he's been flying around in rotation, closing out the shooters, doing some pretty good stuff.
I did not realize he was 6'10" until like a few weeks ago when I looked. He doesn't normally play like he's 6'10", at least when I've watched him. But I don't know if you can maximize that, because like Michael Porter Jr. is also 6'10" listed, and he didn't play when he came into the league. He played small, but now on both ends of the floor,
now he's protecting the rim a little bit.
Yeah, he's protecting the rim. He's not like a crafty finisher, but if he can get to the rim, he's just usually way higher up than everybody else. So, yeah, I see the vision with Jovic a little bit. It's nice to have a guy who's tall.
And he's shooting 42% from 3 on low volume, but still it's pretty good. But yeah, they beat the Cavs without Bam and without Duncan Robinson, but the Cavs had no Mitchell, Mobley, or Strus. So a war of attrition. Duncan Robinson has a back injury. He's not expected to be out for a long time. And then the last thing on my notes is Bam made a buzzer-beating 3 versus the Pistons.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was cool. Duncan Robinson, I wrote down, he had a 30-piece against Detroit. The renaissance continues. And then we probably touched on this last. I remember in the Patreon you said some shit about Rozier, but I just did it again. His last 12, he's 18 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds on 54% true shooting. But it's weird because his shooting splits, like if you said these to me, 45, 36, 87. And like if you said those to me, I'm like, that's a mildly efficient player. That's all right. Like it's not great or anything. And then the true shoot, 54% is bad. It's like 4% below league average. But still 36% from 3 compared to where he was for like his first run with the Heat. He was one of the worst volume shooters in the league. So I'm sure they will happily take that level of play compared to what they've been getting. He's just kind of turned it around a little bit. And then Tyler Hero, is still out. Will be getting reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks. Will we see him like for the playoffs? Will we see even like a partial postseason run? I know he broke his hand last year. It feels like, was the bubble the last like real Tyler Hero playoff moments, or was there one since then?
They call him Bubble Boy. Who have they played since?
In the playoffs?
Yeah. So they had the run last year to the finals. Did they have another run before that?
No. So 2020 they make the run. 2021 the Bucks stomp them. They catch the Bucks the first round, and the Bucks are like locked in to what Miami is trying to do. 2022 that's the Celtics, so they probably play the Celtics in the conference finals, if I had to guess. Or was the Bucks the conference finals? Let's look it up. Let's look up 2022 Miami Heat. Yeah, they played the Celtics in the conference finals in 2022, and then last year they made the finals, and so yeah,
I have no memory of that Celtics series, the 2022.
Let's see what the box scores looked like. This would be fun. Grant
Did Tyler Hero
Williams.
play?
Who?
Did Tyler Hero play?
I'm almost certainly not. No, he didn't.
Oh.
Literally third on the team in minutes was Oladipo with 162. He averaged 9 points on really bad efficiency, 30, 27, 75 shooting splits. Yeah, it was a pretty forgettable series, but 7 games, kind of cool, kind of fun.
Wait, that series went 7-2?
Yeah, that was a 7-game Eastern Conference Finals. Because I think, if I recall correctly, Golden State took care of Dallas pretty quick, like maybe 6 games, and so they had a while off before Boston met them in the finals. Yeah.
I had COVID during that finals, so I was all out of the loop.
You don't need to be healthy to turn on the TV, Pablo. You just don't love ball like that.
He doesn't know about the COVID brain fog, guys. There's been studies. There's no way I could have been expected. I did watch the finals. I was just watching in my dead grandpa's apartment on an air mattress.
Well, that's fun, I guess. Wow, what a fond memory. I can't believe that didn't just come to the front of your brain. When asked, what was I doing during the 2022 finals? All right. The 76ers, speaking of 22, 2-2 this week. They beat Miami, they beat the Hornets, they lost to the Bucks, they lost to the Suns. I said the Heat win is good, but who cares at this point? The Sixers are just in like sad territory. Like I don't know what to expect from them at this point. Maxey, horrible game versus Phoenix, but before that, 3 straight 30-point games. He averaged 30 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 59% true shooting with just 2.3 turnovers in those 3 games. So that's a nice little run from him. Other than that, I had Kelly Oubre, prime empty stats right now. Like, this is, you want to know an empty stats guy. Last 10 games, Kelly Oubre, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 50% true shooting. This man is literally just out there filling up the box score. That fucking rocks. Do you have any strong Philly opinions this week?
We got to get into some Paul George talk. There's some Paul George rumors to the Sixers. So John Hollinger wrote on Monday, keep an eye on Paul George, by the way. Presumably, if there was a max extension sitting around for him, he would have signed it by now. I think it's fair to say a couple of cap room teams in the East are monitoring this. And if the interest is mutual, the Sixers could easily, and I don't know if this is still his writing or if someone else is writing, if the interest is mutual, the Sixers could easily make a signing happen. Not only can they create enough space for Paul George in free agency, but they could still have $15 million left over as well. That would require them not to win a first-round series, because I guess if they win a first-round series, Paul Reed's contract becomes guaranteed, and if they don't win this series, it's non-guaranteed. So they're going to be tanking this first round. So
Oh
not
yeah,
that they had a chance anyway, but they're going to be tanking. So Paul Reed's contract doesn't get guaranteed, and then they're going to waive. They would have to waive Paul Reed, so that'd be a good pickup for someone else. Trade their first round pick, renounce the rights to all their free agents, including Buddy Hield, D'Anthony
damn.
Melton, and Batum. If Paul George signed for his full max, they could have as much as they could have 16 million left over and then 8 in the middle level exception. But if Tyrese Maxey makes an all NBA team and gets the super max whatever boost, that will complicate things. I think it still is possible that they could have both those two, even if Maxey gets that raise. But they would basically have like nothing left over. They would have like $5 million left over. So
I don't know. Like when you're looking at Phoenix right now,
yeah,
it's like it seems like the meta is 2 high-level players plus a cast of competent role guys around them. Maybe like fringe all-star level guys like Aaron Gordon comes to mind. Just I don't know, like 16
Aaron
and 10.
Gordon is like an all-star level defensive player, and MPJ is like all-star level
Yeah.
offensive player.
Just it doesn't feel like right now what you need is like the big 3 plus nobody else there, especially with Embiid's injury history and everything. Like if he goes down, and Paul George is not extremely durable either, so
No.
it feels like you're already hitching your hopes to Embiid has to be healthy for any of this to matter anyways. Going out and just like adding Paul George, I don't love that move for Philadelphia. I do think the Paul Reed contract is hilarious. Do you remember? I think it was Danny Ainge's fault because he was a restricted free agent, and Utah offered him a contract that Philadelphia had to match, and Ainge put in the contract, if you win a first round series, this becomes guaranteed. Because obviously Utah's not going to do that, but Philadelphia probably will. So like he's essentially just being like, if you want to re-sign him, you're kind of fucked. Low key, that's tough. That's tough. It's not as good. It's not as good of a deal for you as it is for me. So yeah, that's funny. I don't know. I don't love that move for Philadelphia, but I do. I think Maxey, he might make an All NBA team this year. I guess I haven't taken a hard look at like all of the guards.
Yeah, I haven't either, but he really is like off the dome. He really should not.
Yeah, well, because obviously Donovan Mitchell is probably better. Luka.
I think he might miss too many games.
Oh shit! Yeah. No, he definitely will. Yeah, I don't know.
Halliburton probably still makes it. Does Luka count as a guard? Steph?
Yeah. All NBA, they're positionless too. So yeah, he's not gonna make it. Yeah, because like if you just like stack up forwards, centers, guards, and just like go down the list, he's not 15th on that list. I don't think. Like he's probably closer to 20th. And so I don't know. Maybe with the games missed thing, he'll sneak in right at the end, but I don't know. Probably not. Some French guy, I think the prime minister. He was mad about Embiid being wishy-washy.
Whoa.
Let me see. And now that I'm saying the prime
is Embiid, I thought Embiid committed to Team USA.
Yeah, well that's what he's mad about. Embiid France quote. Let's see it. Well, that didn't pop up right when I Googled it, so I don't care. This guy, he's mad because Embiid was simultaneously like, maybe I'll play for France, maybe I'll play for Cameroon, maybe I'll play for the United States, who knows? And now he is committed to the U.S., so it's kind of like Italy with Paolo Banchero, where it's like, we don't want to be swindled. You guys are being dishonest. Oh my God. But France, their team would have been kind of sick if Embiid played for them because they wanted to roll out Wembanyama, Gobert, and Embiid as the full front court. Run Wembanyama at small forward, I guess.
Alex Sarr is French too.
Holy shit, that would be a tough team to score on, dude. That would be kind of dope. To be honest, yeah, I don't know. The fact that Embiid's playing international ball at all seems kind of crazy. Just in terms of like injury and like if Kawhi came out and he was like, "I'm playing for Team USA right now," I'd be like, "Oh shit, that doesn't seem like the smartest move." But I don't know. Maybe all the '90s guys are right, and the only way to develop tolerance to injuries, durability, is to just constantly fucking play. So that's all I got for the Sixers.
I'll tell you what, it is lame that he's playing for Team USA. Like, just because you went to high school here, and I guess you've lived here since then, but that's not what international basketball's about.
Yeah.
It should be you and Siakam teaming up for Cameroon. But I'll tell you what's even crazier is France getting mad about this. Like, he speaks French because you colonized Cameroon, and so you're like, you need to play for us, you idiot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's a crazy take. So like France would be. Yeah, I think he should. I think he should have played for Cameroon, but he can do whatever he wants. I think he probably just wants to hang out with everybody on Team USA. I was thinking about that. I wonder if that's why. I think that's the biggest driver for player friendships these days. Because like that didn't exist before the Dream Team, right? Like the pros weren't playing Team USA, and then now everyone plays Team USA, and they all become best friends. Like Jimmy Butler becomes best friends with Carmelo and Kyrie Irving and all these guys, and everyone just forms friendship. So I think Embiid is just like getting FOMO. He's like, hey, I want to be in there.
Siakam's like, we can hang out, and he's like, I don't think I'm busy. I sent the letter already. Sorry. Yeah, so I don't know. French, definitely not. He should not be playing French basketball as far as like the morality of the situation goes. The audacity of that guy. It's the French basketball president, Jean-Pierre Ciutat. Ciutat. That was the guy who said it. The audacity of him to be like, France has not benefited enough from this relationship yet. Like, I know we took all your cobalt, all your lithium, we're farming rubber all over your land and everything. It's fine. You have to come play for us. Otherwise, you're a bad person. And
if you have a bad game, we're going to put the N-word on the front word of the newspaper.
That's France for you. Shout out to Gobert. There's a reason everyone thinks he's evil, you know?
Shout out to Kylian
Mbappe. Shout out to Killian Hayes. Nah, just kidding.
He might make the team, I'm telling you.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. He played in the NBA. It's not like they have just like a slew of those guys.
Well, who do they have? They have Fournier. Who else is French out there?
So it'd be Gobert, Wembanyama, Fournier. Is there literally another French guard in the league? I don't think so.
Well, Koulibaly's French, but he's a forward. Riza Shea is in this draft. He's like a 6'10" shooter, but he's not like a ball handler. Tony Parker's gone. Who? There's got to be someone.
French Olympic basketball team, 2024. Oh, Batum would probably play for them, but he's not a.
They got wings and bigs.
Yeah, they really need Fournier to ball out for them. All right, Chicago Bulls. Speaking of, do they have wings and bigs? Not really. I guess DeRozan's kind of a wing. He's a big guard. They're 2-2 in their.
This Bulls segment is brought to you by my car turning.
My car turning on. Ding, ding, ding. 2-2 in their last 4. They have losses to the Rockets and the Clippers. They have wins over the Wizards and the Blazers. Congratulations. DeMar DeRozan lays out Jalen Green for no reason. And then when Dylan Brooks has him wrapped up, the slow motion was a perfect angle. It was right on DeMar's like face, and he just goes, "Get the fuck off me. Fuck you." And I was like, dude, kind of based. Just getting in. If Dylan Brooks has you wrapped up and that's what you got to say, that's funny as hell. Kobe White got fucking power bombed by Siakam in the Indiana-Chicago game, so he missed 3 games this week. To be honest, I thought he was going to miss more. The fact that he's back after 3 is pretty impressive. It looked like a scary injury. And then Ayo Dosunmu is the big story this week. He scores 20 points or more in 3 consecutive games for the first time in his career after a bad game versus the Clippers. This week, he was 31 points and 7 assists on 75% true shooting throughout the next 3 games, 2 of which were admittedly, again, against Portland and Washington. Not good defenses. Fake? Is that what you said?
No.
Well, they beat Sacramento. We'll get to them in a second. Lobbyist, we have a lobbyist request. While many have Kobe White for being a front runner for MIP, I am pushing for the propaganda for what Ayo Dosunmu has done this year. So this guy wants Ayo Dosunmu to be an MIP candidate, which more realistic than the Hartenstein case, I'll say that. But it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, he has emerged as a real piece, I think. So we have the Bulls going forward. We have 2 good young complementary guards, 2 guys who could fit well alongside a superstar. So if we were to ever find that guy, man, that'd be sick.
Other than that, what killed me is I tweeted out, I was like, the team that I've changed my perspective on the most this season is 100% the Chicago Bulls. Even just through like a youth standpoint, I'm like, okay, you have Dosunmu, you have Kobe White, all the shit I thought at the beginning of the season, blow it up, all that still needs to happen. But I didn't say that. I only said my opinion has changed. And a guy quoted it, and he was like, the young guys balling makes blowing it up seem to it makes it start to make sense to me. Like, maybe we should do that. And I was like, fucking yeah, even if you had like James Wiseman and Johnny Davis playing for you, blow the team up. Like, this is not something that you need to continue long term. DeMar DeRozan, clutch player of the year though. Yeah, Chicago in the Portland game, he was pretty clutch because, well, he was the 3rd most clutch player in the game. 4th quarter, Anthony Simons and Duop Reith each had 12 points. Shout out to Duop Reith. The pamphlets, they're falling. But DeRozan had 9 in the 4th quarter, and he was the only reason that Chicago like just barely survived that game. So, yeah, that was good. That's all I got for them.
Lonzo Ball is dunking.
I feel like he's been dunking for forever. I feel like the problem is like sustained sprinting and cutting.
I don't know. I think it's new. I don't know.
Well, I just remember. No, it wasn't dunking. It was when Stephen A. Smith said, "This guy can't sit down," and then he posted a video sitting down and standing up on his bad leg, and it was like,
"Come on, Stephen A. Don't lie.
don't lie." And it's like, well, are you playing NBA basketball anytime soon? I don't really have a problem with what he said. He was probably just like a bit hyperbolic, I guess. Yeah. Other than that, I miss Lonzo Ball. The Lonzo Alex Caruso backcourt, that was special. That was fun.
But you know what? I had never connected these dots before. So that happened at the same time when the rule changes happened for that like first month or 2 in the season. Remember when Harden was struggling and Lillard was struggling and everyone was struggling because they took away like foul baiting and physicality. That was when the Bulls defense was going crazy. So who even knows if it would have done.
Yeah. Maybe the Bulls are just good at fighting, and they stopped letting people fight, and now you're back to this bullshit. You're back to the 9 seed, baby. I think the Bulls are fun now. That's what I'm saying. I've been switched. I'm Bulls pilled now. They're fun. If the Bulls, it's a 4th quarter game and it's close, I will turn it on. Like, that's close to the top of my team's list as far as.
I'm a hater. It's all for nothing.
It's all for nothing. It's for enjoyment. Enjoy the. Yeah, you're right.
It hurts me. I'm too. They bring me nothing.
You're having so much fun. Like, Dosunmu step back, Kobe White pull up, Nikola Vucevic drop step. Oh, Jesus Christ!
But then Julian Phillips looking spry off the bench.
Right, Patrick Williams, cool outfit on the bench. All right, next team. Oh, I don't have anything written down. The Hawks, 1-3 in their last 4. They beat the Clippers. They lost to the Suns, the Lakers, and the Jazz. I feel like I always give the Hawks a little bit more attention than they deserve, so I tried to divert my attention to like we always skip the Nets. I have more Nets shit written down this week, so you can carry the Hawks segment a little bit. What do you got?
All right, here's what I got. They beat the Clippers without Harden. Wow. Wesley Matthews is questionable. Jalen Johnson, right ankle injury. He's out. Trae Young, finger. Kobe Buffkin, toe. AJ Griffin, leg/ankle. Mo Gay, elbow. Sadiq Bey, out for the year. This is a raw. They need to be put out of their misery. They need the season to end more than anybody else. Clint Capella shooting 55% at the rim since February 1st. Horrific for a big man.
Not great for a guy who only dunks. Not a ton of finesse in Capella's game.
Jalen Johnson?
What?
Johnson in your face?
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's funny.
He
All
dunked
right.
on Austin Reeves. He put his
His Johnson. His
Yeah.
member. Yeah.
It got but like if you're a Hawks fan, you're like, surely we have the best dunk of the night, and then you turn on ESPN, it's like Anthony Edwards. It's like,
oh, that's way cooler. God damn it.
It's like if your dog died on the morning of 9/11. You're like, this is my worst day ever. I gotta tell. I need some sympathy from my friends and family. And then it's like, what? Did you turn on the TV?
Oh, that's a really good metaphor. I'm gonna have to work that in more. I agree. I agree with the idea. The Hawks. It's so funny because they do need to be put out of their misery, and in a just world, there would be a team below them that's like rising up on them as they have all these injuries and completely fall apart, but it's just the Nets below them, so it's like, oh, we're garbage too. Like we're not you're playing the play-in tournament, you're going to be there, so just get used to that, DeJounte Murray. When the play-in tournament started, didn't it need like a 5-game gap between the 8 and the 9 seed to be like triggered? There was a trigger for it in the first year of the play-in tournament. And I wonder if they'll ever go back to that, because for the bottom half of this Eastern Conference, man, like we really don't need that.
I'll be honest, the entire time it's existed, I've had zero understanding of how it works at all. And this is something I saw them complaining about in the Bill Simmons subreddit. They're like, Mr. Basketball still doesn't know how the play-in tournament works. Oh my god. But yeah, there needs to be a mercy rule. We don't need a play-in.
We do not need the Hawks Bulls.
Do not come.
Play-in game. And for the West, it's so funny because it's going to
the West, it's crazy.
It's fucking Steph, LeBron, KD, Booker, and then the Kings. Ooh, jeez.
Oh.
Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to hear us. We'll shit all over the Kings tomorrow. Don't worry, guys.
And Aaron Schroeder. We don't respect him.
We don't respect him. Silly guy. That's the lame mustache guy as far as we're concerned. We've got the alpha mustache guy on the State of the League podcast. The Hawks, yeah, they suck. Get them out of here. The Nets, 0-4 this week. They lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Pelicans. They lost to the Spurs. They lost to the Pacers. The Spurs loss of Victor Wembanyama victims. They were up a good chunk with like 6:30 left in the fourth quarter. They were up 10 points. It was a Wemby takeover after that. He just fucking cooked. He got it to overtime. He was very impactful on both ends of the floor. They did make it interesting in the Bucks game. They fought back from down 15 points. They took like a 1-point lead in the fourth quarter. Got outplayed in crunch time, not surprising anybody. Cam Thomas back to life a little bit. I could spit his averages here after I let you do your thing. What do you think about the Brooklyn Nets?
I don't. Well, here I have one hopeful thing and one non-hopeful thing. Ben Simmons will be available for training camp next year. Next year's the year that Ben Simmons is back.
Hell yeah.
No pun intended. I just realized what I said. They don't have their first round pick. I think the Rockets have it, and I think it's unprotected. So that's not good news.
No, it's terrible news.
It's bad news. Yeah.
It's like Oh my god, that I cannot imagine being a Nets fan. It's the like, what is all this for? Like, what are we?
Are they the worst team to be a fan of over the past like
100%.
decade? Because number one, like it starts off, you mortgage your future to get the Paul Pierce and whatever super team together. It doesn't lead anywhere. Then you're just playing meaningless basketball for years. You finally get back on track. You have that little spunky fun team. Then you trade that all in for a super team, and then that completely implodes in the worst way humanly possible.
And
So
what's funny about that one is that none of it, with the Paul Pierce thing, they're old. We get it. They're old. It doesn't work. Kevin Durant still playing extremely high level basketball. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, still playing extremely high level
and
basketball.
when they played, they were like the best offense ever.
they were a buzzsaw offensively. It was such a sick team, and it existed for like 30 minutes. And then on top of that, from the KG Paul Pierce thing, that pick was Jason Tatum. So like, it's on top of it. It's like, oh shit, well, we could have that, but we've got Cam Thomas now, who in 7 games back from injury, he scored 20 plus points in all of them. He's averaging 26, 5, and 3 on 58% true shooting in those games. In 4 of those games, he recorded 4 plus assists. So kind of like a little Magic Johnson type guy. He's getting his playmaking up a little bit, which I don't know. I'm not the highest Cam Thomas guy in the world, but he is only 22 or whatever.
The most sober Cam Thomas guy in the world.
Yes, I am extremely sober, which means I know I'm looking at Lou Williams, baby. That's what it feels like right now. Which Lou Will rocks. It's fun to watch Lou Will, but
Cam's got to level up his playmaking to be Lou Williams.
Hey Lou. Yeah, other than that, I wonder if they'll give like what the Claxton situation, because he's a free agent, I believe.
Yeah, you have to sign him, like no matter what, just because you have nothing going for you. Sign him and trade him, but you got to do something. Oh wait, but he's unrestricted, right? Oh man.
Yeah. So like he could just leave, and like
if I was him, I would leave.
I'm not playing here. Like I'm literally one of the better defenders in the league, and it just not only does it not matter, I get no like clout from it here at all. Like I'm not a player that like makes a ton of highlights as beyond just cool blocks and shit. So I'm literally playing very high level individual basketball, and it would help a lot of teams, but not this one, not anytime soon. But we do have a lobbyist request. The Nets are sneaky 2024-25 title contenders. Parentheses, there's no joy anymore. So I think that gives you a good insight into the mind of a Nets fan right now. It is a very dark and twisted place. What do you think? What would need to happen for them to
comes back and lives up to his full potential? And
2018 Ben Simmons type shit. Like we're
back. It would have to be Giannis level Ben Simmons. Like where all our dreams. Yeah, and he's shooting 40% from 3 on 2 attempts per game, and he's shooting 85% from the free throw line, and he's averaging 30, 10, and 10. And then Nick Claxton is his center, and
DPOY.
Then all those role players are finally playing roles alongside a superstar, and everything is good.
3 all defensive team members: Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton.
And maybe they draft the next Jokic in the second round. Maybe.
Who's to say? Nikola Topic. Maybe they get him. Well, they don't have their picks, so never mind. I don't think he's falling to the second round because I know his name.
News. Big alert. I just got news. The Bulls are signing Javonte Green to a 10-day contract. Javonte Green, Bulls legend, another one of our storied point of attack defenders.
I know the name sounds so
familiar. He played
familiar.
for the Celtics for a little bit.
How do you spell Javonte Green? Is that Jav? Okay, I see it. Damn, yeah, I haven't heard that name in years.
I don't know where he's been, but he's a really good defensive player, and he's pretty athletic, but can't really do much on offense.
Yeah, that's tragic. That's tough. All right, that's all we got for the Nets. I tried to give you some attention this week. So you're welcome, Brooklyn fans. You can at least take solace in that fact. Toronto, 0-4 in their last 4. Lost to the Magic twice. Lost to the Kings. Lost to the Pistons. 1-10 in their last 11 games. Important to note, their first round pick, if it's not top 6, it goes to San Antonio this year. So yeah. That's a little bit nerve wracking when the ping pong balls
It
are
probably
falling.
will be, right?
You figure, yeah, because it's like I don't know. There's so many bad teams, like San Antonio, Portland, Detroit, Washington, Charlotte. Then you hit Toronto, but you'll like the
So
Utah
what are they? The
Jazz.
5th or 6th worst record?
Let's see.
Because
Right?
right now they are as bad as anybody in the NBA.
Oh yeah, they're horrific. It's terrible. So right now they are the 12th seed in the East, and that puts them at 23-46. The Spurs, the Blazers, and the Grizzlies are as bad or worse.
Go to Tankathon
Tankathon.
and go to the mock draft.
This sound of me typing is brought to you by I don't even know. What should it be brought to you by? Letterbox.com/Joestar. That's what it should be.
French government.
No, we're not doing that. So right now it's going Wizards, Pistons, Spurs, Hornets, Blazers, Grizzlies, and then the Spurs get 7. Damn, so the Spurs could theoretically make out with like 2 top 10 picks to put around Wemby.
Click simulate the lottery. Let's see what happens right now.
All right. Rockets is the first overall pick. Well, okay, so the first overall pick, yeah, it's the Rockets via the Nets. Yeah. The Rockets via the Nets. The second is the Hawks. Third is the Jazz. Fourth is the Grizzlies. Fifth is the Wizards. Sixth is the Pistons. Seventh is the Spurs. Eighth is the Hornets. Ninth is the Blazers. And then 10th is the Spurs via the Raptors. So
they're probably going to lose this pick.
Yeah, like it's entirely possible. I would say it feels about 50-50 because they are horrible. They will get worse. Whereas Grizzlies almost seem to like be in a lot of games lately, so maybe they'll win a couple more and bail them out. But I don't know. Doesn't look great if you're the Raptors. You know what else doesn't look great? Posting black dick on social media. It's not.
Those are just their names. Why don't you?
Those are just their names. Anthony Black and Grady Dick. Everybody. I don't understand why you would get fired for posting something like that. To be honest,
is that true? Did the person actually get fired?
No. The whatever it was, LinkedIn profile, it was from like 3 days earlier. So unless somebody's got future sight over there, it was just poorly timed. Other than that, I wrote down Kelly Olynyk. Fun. He's been 15, 6, and 5 on 68% true shooting over the last I didn't write down how many games. Let's say the whole time in Toronto. Let's say he's just been fucking balling in Toronto. It's just a weird, like, I don't know why they made this move because they will have to re-sign him. And so you're almost like giving him a platform, a stage on which to demand a contract offer from other good teams. So like you gave up a first round pick and you're like, here's a bunch of shots. We're desperate for offense. Let's see what you can do. And via that, other contenders are like, if we had a little money, I mean, we need a backup big, something like that. So I don't know. It just seems I don't totally understand the move, but he's a Canada guy. So that's good. Do you have any thoughts on Toronto?
They, just like the Nets, they just need this season to end. Chris Boucher tore his MCL. Jakob Poeltl is out indefinitely after pinky finger surgery. RJ Barrett had a death in the family. DJ Carton and Quickly are going to be out for the next game. There's no timetable for a Quickly return. They are just in the worst spot possible. They just need this season to end. The only bright spot is Quickly. Players to average 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists since the All-Star break. Luka, Jokic, LeBron, Quickly. that's it. That's the end of the list. So he's
Damn.
as good. He's as good as those guys. 41% from three, 58% true shoot. So he's playing good, but this team is done. So this team's kaput.
Yeah, it's cooked. Sorry, Raptors fans.
They've lost 8 straight.
But you do have most of your picks. You might not have it this year, but the Nets literally don't have it until like 2029. So you're in a better spot than them at the bare minimum. The
But you
Hornets.
won't get to. They won't be high picks because Scotty Barnes MVP next year. Woo!
Scotty Barnes MVP, baby. The Hornets are 1-3 in their last 4. They beat the Grizzlies. They lost to the Magic, the Suns, and the 76ers. The official NBA Twitter shouted out Miles Bridges for a birthday tweet. That was fucking crazy. Did they do that for every single NBA player? Because otherwise, why do that? That just feels like you're doing like a little bit.
They do it for a lot of guys. I don't know if they do it for everyone. They might do it for everyone. I don't even know.
Damn, that's interesting. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on.
I would just hold off on that. I would just not get involved if I was them.
Happy birthday to Michael Myers, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Woo, happy birthday, Mike. Vasily Micic. That's who I'm talking about. I'm not saying shit about Miles.
March Meechness.
Yeah, what?
March Meechness.
Oh, I like that. That's fun. I thought you said large meechness for a second, and I was like, oh, that's kind of gross.
He
but
probably does have a large meechness based on how he's playing. 16-5, 63% true shooting in March. Wow.
He's killing it. 28 points, 8 assists, 115% true shooting versus the Memphis Grizzlies. He missed one shot. When you get to see people realize that you can go over 100% true shooting online, it's always fun. People are like, "What the 115?"
Fake stat confirmed.
Fake stat. He made 12 out of 10 shots. Everybody, that's what that means. LaMelo and Mark Williams are both injured without timetables to return, probably done for the year. Just another team. I mean, the bottom of the East is some dogs right now. It is not a particularly fun conversation to have, but yeah, we're close to it. We're close to being put out of our misery around here. Do you have any closing?
How many leagues left? 2 or is it more?
Probably let's call it 2.5 for. So but yeah, 2.5 games of Toronto Raptors games. Good Lord. That's going to be tough. Yeah. Moving on to the Pistons. They had all that aura. They were fun. 0-4 this week. They lost to the Heat twice. They lost to the Celtics. They lost to the Pacers. Only one game was close. It was against the Heat, where the Pistons gave up 30 to Duncan Robinson and lost, obviously. We have a
They didn't give it up. He took it from him.
He took it. He's a dog, baby. Heat culture. Lobbyist request.
Oh,
fix the Pistons. So how what are you thinking for that? This is a super broad approach. We could kill every other team. We could broker like maybe an international treaty with North Korea, something like that. We could get really in depth as to what the strategy for fixing the Pistons is. We could bring American car factories back. And so that way the Motor City business would be booming, and we could change the NBA so that there's no salary cap, and the influx of business to Detroit gives them the most liquid assets in the entire league. They can just pay everybody they want. And
well, their owner, I don't know if he's in the car industry, but you know what industry I know he is in for sure?
What?
The Little Caesars industry.
Oh, we got to do some pizza shit. All right. Fuck.
They got to have the biggest pizza chain in the world.
Hell yeah. And you know how you become the biggest pizza chain in the world? Make the biggest pizza in the world. We're doing a
and then you only have to sell one piece.
One piece? All right. Yeah, so that's how you fix the Pistons, everybody.
I am removing step 1 to fix the Pistons. Remove the blood clot that has just ended Asar Thompson's season. So then here's because there is no savior in the draft next year. I don't know who's coming into free agency. Here's what you need. You need Cade Cunningham, good Cade Cunningham for the entire year. So like efficient 20 and 10 guy with or 25 and 10 with great defense guy. You need Jaden Ivey to peak. You need Monty Williams to quit. You need Asar Thompson to learn how to make
More
three.
specifically, you need the Pistons to fire Monty Williams because he's getting that bag. He's not quitting.
Oh
So.
man, you need him to disappear. Who else is on that roster? Jalen Duren, growth spurt.
More
70.
steroids. Just like
Whoa.
completely. His arms are the size of like beer kegs. It's scary.
And he punches Wemby in self-defense and kills him, but it's legal because it's self-defense.
Hell yeah. I'm down for that. That's so. What is Wemby attacking someone? That would be a good fight. Wemby versus Jalen Duren. Nobody steps in. It goes until someone's dead. It's the wingspan versus the brawn of the NBA. They're both 19. It's barely legal. This rocks.
That would not be good for anyone. How many players could Jalen Duren kill with his bare hands?
Like in a row or just like
just 1v1? Is it how many guys like
I would say a vast majority of the NBA. Like
could he kill LeBron with his bare hands?
Probably. You figure the wingspan starts to like add into it a little bit. But then you also have to think about like were any of them wrestlers at any point? Do any of them have like serious martial? Because like if Lou Dort was like an experienced martial artist, I would have confidence in him being able to beat just like a big guy. But most of the backcourts in the NBA, you figure Jalen Duren has on lock.
Porzingis has a lot of experience fighting outside the bars and the clubs in Latvia. Every offseason, it seems, he's getting into a fight.
Which is so funny, because, like, what goes through your mind before you're like, I'm going to fucking whoop this guy's ass? And he's 10 feet tall. Where do you punch? Yeah. I don't know about shouting out Latvia, but shout out to Jalen Duren. I know that for sure. We like him around here. That's all I got for the Pistons. Any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Wizards. Oh, shit. The sirens are going the other way, hopefully. 1-3 this week. The Wizards beat the Kings. They lost to the Celtics, the Bulls, and the Rockets. De'Aaron Fox. So the Kings win. That's all we're talking about here. I don't give a shit about any of that other stuff. De'Aaron Fox attempted 15 3-pointers against a team that has 1.5 good perimeter defenders and was starting Rashawn Holmes at center. So that was not a recipe for success if you're Sacramento. The starting lineup versus Boston was insane. Justin Champagnie, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert, Rashawn Holmes. Not an ideal, super team. Kispert's last 8 games, though, he scored at least 13 points in 6 of them, and he only scored single digits once. Across those 8 games, he's averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on 66% true shooting. That is 53% from the field, 45% from 3, 52% from the line. No free lunches, baby. And then the lobbyist request. We have 2. One of them is totally schizo-pilled. So let's. What do you think about the Wizards this week?
Koulibaly is out for the year. That fraud win versus the Kings. The Kings just missed. They were like 11 for 39 from 3 or something. They didn't make any 3-pointers. They turned the Wizards over 20 times and but they still just couldn't win, even though they made like a bunch of comeback runs in that game. But they need the season to end. They're in draft territory. They're like, man, I want the number 1 pick.
Yeah, that was a Bill Simmons take that was interesting. Was the Wizards routinely get the number 1 pick when the draft is just like, meh. And I think the last time it happened, I'm not super locked into was John Wall 2014? 2014.
2010 or 2011?
Probably 2010. Let's guess. I'm gonna say 2010.
I think he's 10, and I think Kyrie is 11.
Yeah,
and then Davis is 12.
His first season was 2010-11. So yeah, 2010 number 1 overall pick to the Wizards, and he was good. He was fine, but
He was a big time prospect. He was really great.
the Dougie, so sick.
Oh
my god,
man,
fucking shit. That's John Calipari was still the coach then, right?
yeah.
That's
he got all
carried. I
those
mean,
guys.
those fucking
You know
teams.
who was on that team?
Anthony Davis.
No, Boogie Cousins, John
Ooh.
Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Eric Bledsoe, and I forget who else. But it's a big, talented team.
Yeah, they were really those old Kentucky teams were cool. They don't got it like that anymore.
They don't have it like that anymore. They're not. I don't know who they have coming in next year.
The lobbyist request, the first one, fairly solid. Point Poole, that's all it said, was just point Poole. So I'll talk about Jordan Poole. He scored 31 against Cleveland a few weeks ago. Since then, he's got 14 games, 19.9 points, 4.5 assists, 58% true shooting in those games. Compared to how he has played this season, that is really, 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 really good. He's been bad for most of the year, and that is a well above average NBA player. He's been playing, I don't know, kind of like the basketball you would expect him to play when they made the move to move Beal and pick him up and all that other shit. The other request, should Vivek Ramaswamy buy the Washington Wizards and use it as a simulation test case for how he'd run the United States government? Balancing a salary cap is no different than managing the national debt when you really think about it, pondering emoji. Then when he inevitably lifts them from the abyss of being poverty franchise, he will prove himself as the superior Vivek over Vivek Ranadive of the Sacramento Kings. I don't know. That's a good question because they're in such separate spheres. I don't think they're competing Viveks just because they have the same name. But if he does this, they'll absolutely be competing Viveks. And the other one has a huge head start. So, I mean, if you're really confident in his ability to lift the Wizards out of poverty like that, I suppose this would be the move. But I don't know. The Kings have a really solid foundation. What do you think?
Well, where did Vivek Ranadive's money come from? Can we get on the Google for that? I don't know what industry he's from, but I'm pretty sure Ramaswamy's money comes from a failed drug. Like, didn't he lie about some pharmaceutical, like magic pharmaceutical thing? Be like, hey, this is gonna work, and then made a bunch of money off this, and it did not work. I think that was the thing. So I don't know if he's successful.
I'm looking up both of them. Vivek Ramaswamy, where does his money come from? His money, Ramaswamy, comes from biotech and financial businesses. That's what Google's puts up. And then Ranadive, we're making money in the software industry. He sold Tibco software, which I have no idea what that does. But yeah, so we're looking at software versus biotech and finance.
Vivek Ranadive, I'd be willing to marry his daughter and then I could come into the family and make some basketball decisions for the Sacramento Kings. I think things would go pretty well.
Okay.
But
first step, give all your draft picks to the Chicago Bulls, baby.
Oh, no, I would fully embrace being a Sacramento guy. I'd watch Lady Bird every day.
Is that where that takes place?
Oh yeah. Have you seen Lady Bird?
Yeah, I've seen it. I watched it one time and I did like it, but it wasn't like a super rewatchable movie for me. Maybe I'll revisit it because I do remember it being good. I haven't watched it in a long time.
I'm Lady Bird pilled. Have you seen Perfect Days? I haven't seen Perfect Days. I want to though.
It seems what like is my about? I haven't heard
like my type of movie. It's a Japanese movie where like I think it's about like a garbage man or something. Who just
yeah, he loves his life. And he just fucking chills and listens to music and shit like that.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Have you seen Late 90s? That feels like it would be a huge movie.
No, Late 90s. What is this?
Jonah Hill directed it. It's about like a group of kids skateboarding around LA in the summertime.
Oh, no. I think I have heard of this.
It's called Mid-90s, not Late 90s. Producers telling me.
That producer's son, mid-90s. I have not, but
It's good. It's fun. Very kind of like Dazed and Confused. Like nothing really
I haven't
happens.
seen that. One of my friends is obsessed with that movie.
Okay, well, your friend might be annoying because it's it's a good movie, but anybody who's like this movie it defines me, it's like, oh man.
It is absolutely that way. What's it called? Yeah, I would trust Vivek Ranadive. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is kind of an idiot. Like he, even business failures aside, like you're never there. You're not gonna win the concert, which he probably didn't plan to win. But you're not.
You
You're
don't
not.
think I think he did. It seemed like it. It seemed like he was like, well, if I just like I'm reasonable. And that's what sets me apart. So I know when I reach across the aisle with my ideals, everyone's going to be willing to sit down and listen. And then like the average American is like, huh, what if there was a 7-Eleven in the White House? Huh.
Yeah, there.
And it's like, shut the fuck up.
He could come out with the most perfect conservative policy making ever that appeals to all their voters ever, and they'd be like, Brown.
Brown, it's just not working for me. It's
Yeah.
just not working for me. Yeah, so I'm on Ranadive as well. He's already done it. So, I mean, if we're stacking them up against each other, I'll go with that. And if the question is just should Ramaswamy buy the Wizards, probably not. No, probably.
I think it's one of the rare scenarios where things go even worse than they're going to now.
Yeah, we're in the timeline where the Wizards would win the 2028 NBA championship, but Ramaswamy buys the team and he just fucking drills them into the ground.
What if Greta Thunberg buys the team and then gets rid of it because of emissions, because of planes?
Oh man, I'll be mad. What if they could just play? She buys the team. They only play home games. They don't fly anymore. So every away game, they forfeit it. Their maximum of 500. Their maximum of 500 basketball team.
We really gotta lock in here.
Guys, every game at home matters. Fans, you gotta show up. We need home court advantage. Oh, that fucking rocks. All right,
and you have to blow up the basketballs with your mouth. No air pumps.
Oh my
That's
God.
what she wants.
That would hurt. Jeez. It's like blowing up the tightest balloon you can imagine. like your cheeks start to get tired and shit. Do you have awards for this week?
Yes. Let me pull
I forgot to flesh mine out. So I have like the runners for each award. I don't have any like details on any of these. So maybe I'll just do like an honorable mention situation.
All right. So my Jeremy Lin Linsanity player of the week is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson he's lapping the rest of the East in scoring. He's averaging 37. He averaged 37 points a game this week. The next highest score is Jaylen Brown, averaging 30. So he's 7 points higher. 37, 3, and 6 on 61% true shooting. Big Brunson week, back-to-back 40-point games. First guy to do that since Carmelo for the Knicks.
Damn, cool. I wonder when we're gonna get to the Brunson is a better Knick than Carmelo conversation.
Bill Simmons has already said that.
Holy shit. Okay, well that's a bit soon for me. They did do a pretty bad job building around Melo, but at the same time, there is some conversations to be had about maybe the effectiveness of his style of play and if he could like really buy in on the defensive end in New York and stuff like that. But right now, Melo clears, obviously. Brunson was my number one. I'll go with my number two so we can talk about two guys. Damian Lillard, I went with 28 points, 11 assists, 65% true shooting this week for Milwaukee. They went 3-1. Like I said, he was huge in the Phoenix game. What was it? The win over the Suns. He was big. So yeah, that fucking rocks. My Ferris Bueller's week off. I had I could pick. I'll go Grady Dick. Toronto's suffering from bad dick. That's what I wrote. 6 straight starts. He was 9.5 rebounds, 9.5 points, 2.5 assists, 2.5 rebounds on 35, 27, 100 shooting splits for 44% 100. So he's only a free lunch guy. If you give him a free lunch, he'll eat it. But otherwise, he's starving. which sucks because for like a tween kind of like weird positional guy, 2.5 assists is not nothing. So if he could be just like a mildly efficient scorer, he probably would not have made this list. But it is what it is. That's what I wrote down. Who was yours?
My week off player was Cade Cunningham. A rough 3 games, 17, 5, and 9 on 43% true shooting. You know what he shot from 3? He shot 8%.
8. I love that. I love a single digit. I mean, that's like you made 2 shots all week. Oh man. All right. Cousin Richie Forks comeback player of the week. I had Bobby Portis. And this is more, I'm cheating a little bit. This is more the culmination of like the last month of basketball after a really rough start to the year for him, where this week he averaged, what was it? He averaged 17 points and 9 rebounds on 60% true shooting this week, despite having 2 games in single-digit scoring. Over the last 21 games, he's 16 points and 8 rebounds on 58% true shooting, and he had back-to-back games with 24 and 10 this week. So I've said multiple times, 2021 Bobby Portis, he had like Nas Reed type energy, and lately he's gotten back to that a little bit. So that could definitely be helpful if you're Milwaukee looking to make a deep postseason run. Who do you got for Cousin Richie?
I've got a different Buck. I've got Chris Middleton for the literal injury comeback and for playing well in the 2 games that he played. So I've got Chris Middleton.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, shout out to Chris Middleton. ISO Joe Johnson, clutch player of the week. Pretty boring week as far as like, I guess Bam hit one. I put Rozier for the game winner he had over Cleveland, I believe it was, and then he had back-to-back fourth quarters with 10 points, including the Philly game, which they ended up losing, but it wouldn't have been close if he didn't score 10 in the fourth. So shout out to Terry Rozier. Who do you got?
Damian Lillard, he made some clutch shots in that Celtics game to try and get him the win. He kept it close for them. And then I think he made some big ones in the Nets game as well. And he had some big clutch steals. So Dame time.
He was getting crazy steals in those Nets games. I remember that. Or the net game, I guess. That's it, everybody. Calm little 215 for you. Happy to be back. Happy to be, another free episode. We're just cranking out incredible content at no cost to yourself. If you want to listen to the exciting episode, The West, where shit's actually happening at this time of the year, that'll be on Patreon. Patreon.com/State of the League. Other than that, you got anything you want to tell these people, Pablo?
I've been in a sushi phase, but I'll tell you what, $15. It costs $15 every time you get sushi. Not bad.
How many? Is it like a buffet, like revolving sushi place, or what?
Just one order of spicy tuna and one order of spicy salmon. So about 12 pieces of, it's a roll, so 2 rolls, so about 12 little pieces of sushi. So please, guys, subscribe to the Patreon so I don't go out of house and home dropping $15 on sushi. Jesus Christ,
exactly.
The government is trying to take us away on TikTok, so subscribe now
I mean, we're gonna be an oppressed people soon enough.
God.
That's why lobbyists, you guys are in the government. Please speak up for us. It's fucking ridiculous that we have to ask, but whatever. All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.